Hey everyone, welcome to theCUBE here live in San Francisco, California for AWS Summit 2022. We're live, we're back with events. Also we're virtual, we got hybrid, all kinds of events this year. Of course, AWS Summit in New York City is happening this summer. We'll be there with theCUBE as well. I'm John Furrier, again, John Furrier, host of theCUBE. Got a great guest here, Justin Copie, owner and CEO of Innovative Solutions. Their booth is right behind us. Justin, welcome to theCUBE.
Thank you for having me.
So we're just chatting off camera about some of the work you're doing. You're the owner of, and CEO of Innovative.
Yeah.
So tell us a story, what do you guys do? What's the elevator pitch?
Yeah, so the elevator pitch is we are 100% focused on small to mid-sized businesses that are moving to the cloud or have already moved to the cloud and really trying to understand how to best control costs, security, compliance, all the good stuff that comes along with it. Exclusively focused on AWS and about 110 people based in Rochester, New York. That's where our headquarters is. But now we have offices down in Austin, Texas, up in Toronto, Canada, as well as Chicago, and obviously in New York. The business was never like this 5 years ago. Yeah. Founded in 1989, made the decision in 2018 to pivot and go all in on the cloud. And I've been a part of the company for about 18 years, bought the company about 5 years ago, and it's been a great ride. It's
interesting, the managed services are interesting with cloud, because a lot of the heavy lifting is done by AWS. So we had Matt on your team on earlier talking about some of the edge stuff.
Yeah.
But you guys are a managed cloud service, you got cloud advisory, the classic service that's needed. But the demand's coming from cloud migrations and application modernization. And obviously data is a huge part of it.
Huge.
How is this factoring into what you guys do and your growth? Because you guys are the #1 partner on the SMB side for Edge, for AWS. You got results coming in. Where's the forcing function? What's the pressure point? What's the demand like?
Yeah, it's a great question. Every CEO I talk to that's a small to mid-sized business, they're all trying to understand how to leverage technology better to help either drive a revenue target for their own business, help with customer service, as so much has gone remote now and we're all having problems or troubles or issues trying to hire talent. And tech is really at the forefront, in the center of that. So most customers are coming to us and they're like, listen, we got to move to the cloud, or we've moved some things to the cloud and we want to do that better. And there's this big misnomer that when you move to the cloud, you got to automatically modernize. Yeah. And what we try to help as many customers understand as possible is lifting and shifting, moving the stuff that you maybe currently have on-prem or in a data center to the cloud first as a first step, and then progressively working through a modernization strategy is always the better approach. And so we spend a lot of time with small to mid-sized businesses who don't have the technology talent on staff to be able to do that.
Yeah, they want to get set up, but the dynamic of latency is huge. We're seeing that edge product is a big part of it. This is not a one-off, it's happening around everywhere.
It is.
And it's manufacturing, it's the physical plant or location.
Literally.
And you're seeing more IoT devices. What's that like right now from a challenge and problem statement standpoint? Are the customers not staffed? Is the IT staff kind of old school? Is it new skills? What's the core problem you guys solve?
In the SMB space, the core issue 9 out of 10 times is people get enamored with the latest and greatest. And the reality is, not everything that's cloud-based, not all cloud services are the latest and greatest. Some things have been around for quite some time and are hardened solutions. And so what we try to do with technology staff that has traditional on-prem, let's just say skill sets, and they're trying to move to a cloud-based workload, is we try to help those customers through education and through some practical, let's just call it use case, whether that's a proof of concept that we're doing, or whether that's, we're going to migrate a small workload over. We try to give them the confidence to be able to, not necessarily go it alone, but to have the gusto and to really have the opportunity to do that in a wise way. And what I find is that most CEOs that I talk to, they're like, listen, at the end of the day, I'm going to be spending money in one place or another, whether that's on-prem or in the cloud. I just want to know that I'm doing that in a way that helps me grow as quickly as possible. Status quo, I think every business owner knows, if COVID taught us anything, that status quo is no good. How about factoring in the agility and speed equation? Does that come up a lot? It does. I think there's also this idea that if we do a deep dive analysis and we really take a surgical approach to things, we're going to be better off. And the reality is, the faster you move with anything cloud-based, the better you are. And so there's this assumption that we've got to get it right the first time. In the cloud, if you start down your journey in one way and you realize midway that it's not the right, let's just say, the right place to go. It's not like buying a piece of iron that you put in the closet and now you own it. In the cloud, you can turn those services on and off. So it gives you a much higher density for making decisions and failing forward.
Well, actually shutting down abandoning the projects that early and not worrying about it.
You got it.
Most people don't abandon stuff because they're like, oh, I own it.
Exactly.
And they get used to it, and then they wait too long.
That's exactly
the frog in boiling water, as we used to say.
Oh, it's a great analogy.
So I mean, this is a dynamic that's interesting. I want to get more thoughts on it because if I'm a CEO of a company, I'm like, okay, I got to make my number.
Yeah.
I got to keep my people motivated.
Yeah.
And I got to move faster. So this is where you guys come in. I get the whole thing. And by the way, great service. Professional services in the cloud right now are so hot because you can build it and then have optionality, you got path decisions, you got new services to take advantage of. It's almost too much for customers.
It is.
I mean, everyone I talk to at reInvent that's a customer, well, how many announcements did Andy Jassy announce, or Adam? You know, the 5,000 announcements, or whatever they did, huge amounts.
Right.
Keeping track of it all is huge. So what's the mission of your company? How do you talk to that alignment?
Yeah.
Not just products, I can get that. Like values as companies, because they're betting on you and your people.
They are.
What's the values?
Our mission is very simple. We want to help every small to mid-sized business leverage the power of the cloud. Here's the reality. We believe wholeheartedly, this is our vision, that every company is going to become a technology company. So we go to market with this idea that every customer's trying to leverage the power of the cloud in some way, shape, or form, whether they know it or don't know it. And number two, they're going to become a tech company in the process of that because everything is so tech-centric. And so when you talk about speed and agility, when you talk about the endless options and the endless permutations of solutions that a customer can buy in the cloud, how are you going to ask a team of 1 or 2 people in your IT department to make all those decisions? Going it alone or trying to learn it as you go, it only gets you so far. Working with a partner, I'll just give you some perspective. We work with about 1,000 small to mid-sized business customers. More than 50% of those customers are on our managed services, meaning they know that we have their back and we're the safety net. So when a customer is saying, all right, I'm going to spend a couple $1,000s a month in the cloud, they know that that bill isn't going to jump to $10,000 a month. Going it alone, who's there to help protect that? Number two, if you have a security posture, and let's just say you're high profile, and you're going to potentially be more vulnerable to security attacks. If you have a partner that's offering you some managed services, now you've got that backstop, and you've got those services and tooling. We offer 7 different products that are part of our managed services that give the customer the tooling that for them to go out and buy on their own. For a customer to go out today and go buy a New Relic solution on their own, it would cost them a fortune. If
the training alone would be
insane.
A risk factor. Not I mean the cost.
Yes,
the opportunity cost is huge.
Huge, absolutely enormous. Training and development is something I think that is often, it's often overlooked. Technologists, typically they want to get their skills up. They love to get the stickers and the badges and the pins. At Innovative in 2018, when we made the decision to go all in on the cloud, I said to the organization, we have this idea that we're going to pivot and be aligned with AWS in such a way that it's going to really require us all to get certified. My executive assistant at the time looks at me, she said, even me? I said, yeah, even you. Why can't you get certified?
Yeah.
And so we made a conscious decision, it wasn't a requirement, it still isn't today, to make sure everybody in the company has the opportunity to become certified, even the people that are answering the phones at the front desk.
I mean, she could be running the Kubernetes clusters.
I love it, it's amazing. But I'll tell you what, when that customer calls and they have a real Kubernetes issue, she'll be able to assist and get the right people involved.
And that's a cultural factor that you guys have. So again, this is back to my whole point about SMBs and businesses in general, small and large. IT staffs are turning over. The Gen Z and millennials are in the workforce. They weren't provisioning top of rack switches, first of all. And so if you're a business, there's also I call the build out return factor, ROI piece. At what point in time as an owner or SMB do I get the ROI?
Yeah.
I got to hire a person to manage it. That person's going to have 5 zillion job offers, maybe, who knows? I got cybersecurity issues, where am I going to find a cyber person? Data, compliance, I need a data scientist and a compliance person. Maybe one and the same. Good luck trying to find a data scientist who's also a compliance person. And the list goes on, I can just continue.
Absolutely.
I need an SRE to manage the SOC report, and we can pen test. These are like
critical issues.
This is just like, these are the table stakes.
And every business owner's thinking about this.
That's what? At least 1 million in loading, if not 3?
Or more.
just to get that going.
Yeah.
Then it's like, where's the app?
Yeah.
So there's no cloud migration, there's no modernization on the app side yet.
No.
And never mind AI and ML.
That's right. That's right. So to try to go it alone, to me,
it's hard.
It's incredibly difficult. And the other thing is there's not a lot of partners. So the partner
No one's raising their hand. Boss, I'll do all that.
Exactly.
In the IT department.
Exactly.
They're like, can we just call up, our old vendor?
That's right. Right, our old vendor, I like it. But that's so true. I mean, when I think about how, if I was a business owner starting a business today and I had to build my team, and the amount of investment that it would take to get those people skilled up, and then the risk factor of those people now having the skills and being so much more in demand and being recruited away, that's a real issue. And so how you build your culture around that is very important. And it's something that we talk about with every one of our small to mid-sized businesses.
So Justin, I want to get your story as CEO.
Okay.
Take us through your journey. You said you bought the company, and your progression to being the owner and CEO of Innovative, award-winning, guys doing great. Great bet on AWS, good call.
Yeah.
Things are good. Tell your story, what's your journey?
It's real simple. I was a sophomore at the Rochester Institute of Technology in 2003, and I knew that I was going to school for IT, and I knew I wanted to be in tech. I didn't know what I wanted to do, but I knew I didn't want to code or configure routers and switches, so I had this great opportunity with a local IT company that was doing managed services, we didn't call it at that time, Innovative Solutions, to come in and jump on the phone and dial for dollars. I was going to cold call and introduce other small to mid-sized businesses locally in Rochester, New York, little Western New York, who Innovative was. Now we were 19 people at the time, and I came in, I did an internship for 6 months, and I loved it. I learned more in those 6 months than I probably did in my first couple of years at RIT. Long story short, for about 7 years I worked to really help develop sales process and methodology for the business so that we could grow and scale. And we grew to about 30 people, and I went to the owners at the time in 2010, and I was like, hey, I'm growing the value of this business, and who knows where you guys are going to be in another 5 years. What do you think about making me an owner? And they were like, listen, you got a long ways before you're going to be an owner, but if you stick it out and you're patient, we'll work through a succession plan with you. And I said, okay. And there were 4 other individuals at the time that were going to also buy into the business with me.
And they were the owners, no outside capital?
None, zero. Well, 2014 comes around, and the other folks that were going to buy into the business with me that were also working at Innovative, for different reasons, they all decided that it wasn't for them. One started a family, the other didn't want to put capital in, didn't want to write a check. The other had a real big problem with having to write a check if we couldn't make payroll. I'm like, well, that's kind of like, if we're owners, we're going to have to cover that stuff. Well, so,
it's called the pucker factor.
Exactly. So I sat down with the CEO in early 2015, and we made the decision that I was going to buy the 3 partners out, go through an earn-out process, coupled with an interesting financial strategy that wouldn't strap the business, because they cared very much. The company still had the opportunity to keep going. So in 2016, I bought the business, became the sole owner, and at that point, we really focused hard on what do we want this company to be. We had built this company to this point, and by 2018, we knew that pivoting and going all in on the cloud was important for us, and we haven't looked back.
And at that time, the proof points were coming clearer and clearer. 2012 through 15 was the early adopters, the builders, the startups, and early enterprises.
Yes.
The Capital Ones of the world.
Exactly.
And those kinds of big enterprises. I don't want to say gamblers, but ones that were very savvy.
The innovators.
The fintech folks.
Yep.
The hardcore glass-eating enterprises.
Agreed. To find a small to mid-sized business to migrate completely to the cloud as infrastructure was considered, that just didn't happen as often. What we were seeing were a lot of our small to mid-sized business customers, they wanted to leverage cloud-based backup, or they wanted to leverage the cloud for disaster recovery because it lent itself well early days. Our most common cloud customer, though, was the customer that wanted to move messaging and collaboration, the Microsoft suite to the cloud. And a lot of them dipped their toe in the water. But by 2017, we knew infrastructure was around the corner. And so we only had 2 customers on AWS at the time, and we made the decision to go all in.
Justin, great to have you on theCUBE.
Thank you.
Let's wrap up. Tell me the hottest product that you have. Is it migrations, is it the app modernization, is it data? What's the hot product? And then put a plug in for the company.
Awesome, so there's no question, every customer is looking to migrate workloads and try to figure out how to modernize for the future. We have very interesting, sophisticated, yet elegant funding solutions to help customers with the cash flow constraints that come along with those migrations. So any SMB that's thinking about migrating to the cloud, they should be talking innovative solutions. We know how to do it in a way that allows those customers not to be cash strapped and gives them an opportunity to move forward in a controlled, contained way so that they can modernize.
So like insurance, basically, for them. Not insurance in the classic sense, but you help them out on the cash exposure.
Absolutely. We are known for that, and we're known for being creative with those customers and being empathetic to where they are in their journey.
And that's the cloud upside is all about doubling down on the variable win.
That's right.
Seeing the value and doubling down on it.
Absolutely.
Not praying for it.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, Justin, thanks for coming on theCUBE, really appreciate it.
Thank you very much for having me.
Okay, this is theCUBE coverage here live in San Francisco, California for AWS Summit 2022. I'm John Furrier, your host. Thanks for watching. We'll be back with more great coverage for 2 days after this short break.